To all who come, welcome. Disney is a time machine that takes us back, connects us together, and shows us that not even wishing upon a star ever gets old. Now come sit with your friends Jonelle, Sean, and Megan as we deep dive into the heart of Disney.
Hello, foolish mortals. Welcome to the Haunted Podcast with your hosts, your ghost hosts, Megan.
I'm a bit of the Debbie Downer this time.
And here I was going to sit here and go, do. There we go.
Fun fact, Casper's Jr.'s favorite song is Menomina.
That's true, it is. Did you know that? He loves Menomina.
I love the Menomina song.
Stay up.
I could do a whole solo on just going Menomina.
Okay.
Maybe for Patreon.
So I want to put Jonelle on the spot. I want to put you on the spot first, Jonelle.
Because I'm not a fan of this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, that answers my question, but I was going to say, like, one, having actually, like, watched the walkthrough of the Haunted Mansion. Here's some of our lovely spiel on the Haunted Mansion. And watching the Haunted Mansion last week, what were your thoughts on the Muppets Haunted Mansion?
The Muppets does go along well with the ride and all of the scenery that you would see within the ride and kind of the history inside the ride. Just the home of the Muppets, I just personally, I'm okay with not watching them in the Haunted Mansion. I will take the Muppets in other places, just not the Haunted Mansion.
Why?
I thought it wasn't necessary. Come on, Piggy and Kermit.
Madame Pigoda?
Sorry, I have a lot to say
But the
about
fact
one
that
specific
Kermit and, like, come on, basic AF.
scene. Okay.
Them being each other's costumes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a small part of it. Like, that, it's literally one scene.
I mean, yes.
Or like a few scenes. But it's like maybe 5 minutes total.
Watching the Muppets Haunted Mansion was already shorter than both of the movies combined, which we haven't touched on the other movie just yet. So keep
Next
watching,
week.
like and subscribe and comment all of the things above.
I have a lot to say about the next one. I have a lot
You have
to
a lot
say.
to say about all three of them.
I do.
See, I think you like this one more just because of how closely it relates to the ride and the fact that it's a little bit more upbringing.
And it doesn't have Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy.
I mean, we both really like... I'm not a huge Muppet fan at all. I think there's only 2 Muppet movies I actually like, and that's Muppets Christmas Carol and now Muppets Haunted Mansion. Because I love... how they were kind of able to invent a story around it, but still keeping the lore of the Haunted Mansion. But I also like how they attributed the different aspects of the Haunted Mansion to Muppet characters.
Now, okay, so
Megan.
I remember Muppets as, I think, did the Muppets have their own show? Or was it just the Muppets movie?
I think there was a Muppet show.
Because I remember watching Kermit and Miss Piggy like multiple times in many different actions. And like as a child, like I remember that, but like don't remember everything. So I think I would need to go back and rewatch some of the Muppet stuff. F you, hat. It has been purposely like keep falling down, and it's not on purpose though. But anyways, where I was going with this is just like, this is where one of the parts of business that I feel personally very frustrated with is where, and I mean, I work for a company that does this, but they turn another branding within a branding. So that way there's this continualized stream of income based off of something you love, which is nostalgia and core memories. And that's kind of where Muppets and Haunted Mansion fit in is, do you like the Haunted Mansion ride? Yes. Then I'm going to watch a movie. Do you like the Muppets? Yes. And if you like both, then bada bing bada boom.
Listen, I agree with that, but I'm just going to applaud Sean right now.
Aww.
Don't do that. Don't applaud me right now.
Okay.
Now applaud him. Oh, wait, no. Hold up. Wait.
You stay. You
Woo!
Yay!
Applause. You did it, Sean. You did it.
Take that, witch hat.
Way to go, friend.
Anyways.
Continue. Sorry, I was too enamored by that. Okay.
No, that's fair. We were trying to have a full conversation.
ADHD.
Here's the thing. I'm not the biggest Muppets fan, but I like a certain direction that the Muppets can bring to a style of movie. Have you seen the Knives Out movies?
Muppets gives full, sorry to dismiss your question real quick. I just wanted to point out that Muppets give full Sesame Street vibes.
That's because Sesame Street is a license of Muppets.
This is where I remember it. Thank you.
Literally, we talked about this while watching the movie. I actually Googled Sesame Street does fall under the Muppet license.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this makes a lot more sense where I kept seeing Kermit and Miss Piggy.
But have you seen Knives Out?
No.
Well,
maybe, but
great franchise. But something that I find interesting about the Muppets is how they weave actors in to interact with the Muppet characters, and how the actors will treat them like normal people in a way, but at the same time almost have the understanding of these are crazy ass characters.
well, okay, and then knowing now that we touched base that Muppets are a franchise of the Sesame Street,
Other way around.
or you know what I mean.
Hey, it's important. You as a business major know that that's important.
I mean, yes, I know, but I'm also okay. Everyone, I am going through withdrawals of my antidepressants.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. We don't need.
Jonah's having a day.
Yes. So if you want to know why I'm spacing out so much, that is why. But with that, when you watch Sesame Street, a lot of people, when they have a conversation with Elmo, it's because Elmo has a very childlike presentation of I'm curious and I want to know, can you please explain this to me, which is in general along the lines of how a toddler is wanting to learn, which is why Sesame Street was great for children to watch, and then Count Dracula and things like that. But they always brought in different co-stars along there, and it was always very conversational based, which is something that I've always loved about Sesame Street, is when they brought in certain singers or actors, and they would have conversations with the people, and they're what was the one character who lived in a garbage can?
Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, I remember one time there was someone who was having a conversation with him, and they're yeah, that must be really hard, like him living in a trash can. Yeah, that's really hard. I can see why living in the trash would suck,
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Yesterday, we were laying in bed, and I don't remember what I said to Shauna. I was oh yeah, that's really hard. And he goes, did you toddler teacher me? And sorry, that just
it was oh yeah, that's really hard to do. And it was
did you just? Did you just?
She has these you have the we've been over it, you have a lot of moments where you I'll catch it and I'm are you doing conscious discipline on me?
And I will have to stop myself from doing it to my adult friends. I'm nope.
This franchise, that's kind of how they get their viewers engaged, is the fact that yes, they are children who watch this, and children are going to be curious, and especially with the Haunted Mansion, there's a lot of things scary in there, and there's a lot of normal ass conversations going on in that movie because of everything going on, but they make it relatable on an easy level to grasp.
Well, what do you have to add?
Yes. Okay, so fun fact, I didn't grow up with the Muppets at all. I grew up with the Fraggles, which are a little bit scarier.
I had the Teletubbies. Teletubbies, say goodbye. Teletubbies.
I'm pretty sure I did watch Teletubbies, but in my house it was Fraggles, not the Muppets.
Let me look at what the Fraggles are. Hold up.
Oh my gosh, they're kind of nightmare creatures. Oh my gosh, there's the trash people that are in Fraggle Rock, and they still scare me as a grown adult. Anyway, so I didn't watch any Muppets movies.
I love the Fraggles. Hold up, why did I never know the name of it?
So, I never really watched a Muppets movie until, like, A Christmas Carol. And A Christmas Carol is, like, one of my all-time favorite books.
This is funny.
And then like, Sean was like, hey, did you know that there's, like, a Muppets Haunted Mansion? And I was like,
But you love anything that's Haunted Mansion.
I kind of do love anything that's Haunted Mansion. Do not look at my YouTube feed because it is a lot of, like, cozy gaming Haunted Mansion lore.
How would our viewers be able to watch your YouTube feed?
But, like,
I mean, they would be. I think they'd be able to like see the subscribers of like who we subscribe to from like our YouTube page, but not like us personally. I think.
yeah, but like that's like what you would see right now because like in my brain I'm like, ooh, it's the spooky season. Some people watch Over the Garden Wall. We watched like Scary Godmother, but like this is the time of year where I listen and rewatch stuff about the Haunted Mansion.
I guess because you love the Haunted Mansion.
Because I'm obsessed. Do you not see my weighted blanket? I got this in Disneyland.
But like, so.
Oh, so Fraggles are related also to the Muppets franchise.
Yes, but like my dad thought they were different entities, and we were only allowed to watch the Fraggles because that's what he grew up with. And Fraggles are scary.
So, correct me. How long ago was it that the Hot Box Ghost got added?
Oh,
It was only a couple years ago, right? Like, it was fairly recently.
I feel like the Hatbox Ghost was newer in.
You know what the Hatbox Ghost is, right, Jonelle?
It's where like the head goes from here
It's-
into the like the hat box.
Yeah, the hat
Hence the
Fozzie
hat
Bear.
bo-
The Waka Waka guy.
Oh.
How
Box.
his like head went from on his body into like that box that he was holding. That's the Hatbox Ghost because he's holding a hat box. That would be for, like a top hat.
Oh, gotcha.
And a couple years ago, it only just got added. It was a concept from like decades ago, but they didn't quite have the
And we'll see that hot box ghost more in the next episode.
Okay, so
hold on. I was explaining. Like they didn't have like the technology to make it work years ago. And only recently were they able to revisit the idea and figure out how to make it work to where the head does transport into the box and go back.
okay, yeah, this was added back in May 9th, 2015.
It was added in 2015.
You're thinking about like in California in Walt Disney like World, it was added more recently in
I was gonna say it was added to California first.
Yes. Yeah, the one in Walt Disney World was added November 30th, 2023. So for a while it was just in California.
And so I think the last few years have had a lot of... The Haunted Mansion has become very, very popular. Like, yeah, they made the Eddie Murphy movie back in like the early 2000s. But like with the addition of the Hatbox Ghost, I think it led to and especially the resurgence of like Hocus Pocus really becoming really mainstream, and as well as Nightmare Before Christmas.
I think, like, okay, but there's also a lot more podcasts and movies and like a lot of other things that come around. Come on, we're in Halloween season. Spooky is up. People love spooky.
Yes, but when it comes to the Haunted Mansion, because like the Haunted Mansion gets a whole overlay for Halloween time from like the end of August or so till after Christmas. It's overlaid with Nightmare Before Christmas, and so when you take into account like them adding in the Hatbox Ghost, which was a huge addition, it's a super cool effect.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Combined with like the rising like exponential rise of Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus, especially around spooky season, the last 4 years they've been able to really bring Haunted Mansion up to a really high level entertainment wise, not to the level of Pirates and stuff. Pirates has had so much popularity just from the initial ride to what it is now as a film franchise.
All right, I have kind of a dumb question related to the rides.
Yes, I'm ready.
What is the difference between the Tower of Terror and the Haunted Mansion?
A lot. Okay, so Tower of Terror. Sorry.
You were so quick on that.
Listen, you're talking about something like a hyperfixation. Okay, so Tower of Terror is actually based off of this show called The Twilight Zone.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I know what that is. I've watched it before.
Yes, so it's based off of like an episode, and it's like the idea of like what would happen if you were stuck in an elevator and there was like already like supernatural things happening afoot. The Haunted Mansion was just like a bunch of literal hobbled together ideas made by a bunch of Imagineers of what a haunted house in Disney would look like. And so one of them already was like pretty, it was like one cohesive story. The other one is like, we're just going to throw stuff at the wall and see what works.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion around the Haunted Mansion because of like what we talked about last week, like how funny do we want it to be, how scary do we want it to be?
Is it going to be a walkthrough ride? How are we going to get?
Now I kind of wish I went to the Haunted Mansion for Disney World because I didn't. Mainly because I was with my grandma. Okay, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I should have spent a lot more time at Disney World than I should have. But when you're with your grandma, it's exhausting on a person who is in their elder ages.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely need to go back when I have money.
But like, and so like to my point, like I feel like Disney has really pushed a lot more of like the Haunted Mansion to like the forefront through the Muppets, the newer movie that came out last year.
See, this is where branding comes in, and yes.
I just want to add like a little tiny tidbit. Like you can tell how popular the Haunted Mansion is. It's because when you go to Spirit Halloween, there's like a whole decor section that's just dedicated to the Haunted Mansion. Okay, you can go on, Joe, now.
It's true.
This is where I just feel so strongly, passionately frustrated about that. Branding became the new thing in the economy to get money from consumers. And it is still driving our market today. And I mean, we're Disney fans. We still buy onto the nostalgia. We can look at the wall and see it. Like, more. Pokemon, Disney, like, we buy into this nostalgia. But at the same time, you don't really see much of anything that's really new on its own. So I do like the concept, now that I know the history of how the Haunted Mansion was made, that it was a whole bunch of kind of like scattered ideas and then it kind of became this thing. I really like that, and that it has its own history. And the Muppets, of course, they had their own history, but you know, the Haunted Mansion took an existing brand that people already well know, that's going to attract more people to want to go on the Haunted Mansion ride, to bring more people into Disney. And it's this never-ending cycle of how a company plans on increasing their money. And if you look at the stock market, these are things that would get posted for shareholders on what they should expect to see why their money is going to increase within the next quarter. And so these are strategic movements made by CEOs and COOs and everyone within the corporation to squeeze more money out of us. This is just why I feel so passionately frustrated. I want to see more original ideas. I just wasn't a big fan of this one. Like, I liked the Muppets on their own, as they were when I was a kid, but I didn't really see the need for Muppets in the Haunted Mansion.
I think when it came to the Muppets being there, again, growing up not really being that much involved with the Muppets at all, I think it's reassuring because the Muppets have been around for so long, and I think the Muppets Haunted Mansion does a good job of highlighting that, like, there's still room for Muppet content. Because when's the last time you heard of a Muppet thing coming out before Muppets Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, not gonna lie, they kind of like sporadically throw Muppets into a new movie. Like, the Muppets are well known for kids movies, and so the Muppets continuously get thrown into kids branding ideas, and it's just because of how well known they are for that reason of, and I mean, we talked about this earlier, but just their conversations that they have with children and how they make curiosity simple.
I'm having some thoughts. Here's the thing. I have two thoughts. One, as someone who is like, I am skeptical of the Muppets at best and like optimistic about them at worst, right? I didn't grow up with them, so like they're not like super nostalgic for me. If this movie didn't exist, I don't think it would be the end of the world, right? I don't think it'd be like taking a
and this is exactly how I feel.
However, I do want to say that I think it holds a really niche like spot. And hear me out. You were talking about how like Muppets are like known for their conversations. Like Steve from Blue's Clues is like known for his conversations with like the audience, right? I think that as someone who has a kid, a very, very young kid, but like this would be like the first like real stepping stone I would give him into like horror or into like going to the Haunted Mansion.
And that's kind of like the next part that I wanted to go into, which I very much agree with, is like after looking at the ride, yeah, the Haunted Mansion, if you were to sit on that ride, that'd be scary for a little kid. That's traumatic in itself. But and it's because there's a lot of illusions and things inside there, and those things can be scary. There's no illegitimizing the true facts of what you can do to trick the mind.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the Muppets, because they had that very conversational, easy piece to kind of simplify something and break it down to understand, they bring this sense of safety and security. And the Muppets version of this movie really helped simplify the ideas that you would see within the Haunted Mansion ride, which I'm very happy you showed me that ride on Disney Plus.
It's like really integral to like understanding why the Muppets movie and Eddie Murphy's movie is so different. It's because one of them is like based off of like the idea that like the original ride came up with back like when Walt Disney was alive, and then like the actual ride today.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that the Muppets version of the Haunted Mansion is to go along with the ride. And I would say that from the other two Haunted Mansion movies, which we'll touch more on the next episode, follows more into the lore of why, like, part of why the Haunted Mansion was created, but like also just some of the ghosts in there and just kind of what you would expect for a story to come out of the ride.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about like brand marketing, I think I'll say it. Disney was a genius at how they planned this. Muppets came out at least I think around a year before the newest Haunted Mansion came out.
How much money is Disney again?
So much.
Of course they're good at squeezing money out of us.
No, that's not what I'm getting at.
They have employees.
That's not what I'm getting at. Don't know. I'm referring to the fact that they basically used the Muppets Haunted Mansion as a marketing tool to set people up to get them interested in the Haunted Mansion.
This is a business strategic move. They had an employee and they're like, let me tell you something, the Muppets. They sat in their office one day and they're like, you know what? People will pay for the Muppets, and we have the licensing for the Muppets, so we're gonna save money, we're gonna get viewers, and we're gonna increase our money to the shareholders. Muppets and the Haunted Mansion.
Can I tell you some cool Haunted Mansion lore that's inside this movie?
Yes.
Please.
Constance?
No, it's not Constance.
Get the business major to shut up.
No, it's just listen, we only have an allotted amount of time for these podcasts, okay? Because like these people have work, and so I just want to squeeze in this really cool tidbit of knowledge.
Are we almost at the end of the episode?
Not even close.
Oh.
I don't know what you're getting at, Megan.
I just want to put this knowledge into the world.
Okay, go.
Tell Jonelle.
So, you know, in that scene where, like, Leota, I'm going to call it Leota. I know that Miss Piggy's in there, but Leota. Shush.
It's Madame Pagoda.
Madame Pagoda. And, like, there's, like, that woman who comes in, and she is, like, dusting the ball. Oh, hold on.
Jonelle. She's talking.
I know, I am hearing. I just like this sound.
It's a really good
sound. Questions.
Remember that lady who comes in and, like literally, like, polishes the ball?
Yes.
That was, like, the person who's, like, Leota's faces, that's her mom.
So remember how we were saying, like, there was that person whose, like, face got cast to be, like, the face of Leota, and how her daughter works at the park?
Yeah, and then she was like, hi, Mom.
Yeah.
That's her.
That's the one who washes, like, cleans Miss Piggy's
Oh.
ball.
And the outfit she's wearing is the outfit that like the people at Disneyland wear on the ride. So like it's the cast member
members.
uniform.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When like
that's
you can,
cute though.
You can ask Sean. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's her! Oh my god!
It really made us excited because like she does have that like really close connection with the ride. So the fact that they were it shows how wholesome it was for them to like really include her in that because of that special familial connection. But also, okay, the number of celebrities in this movie.
But the Muppets are well known for talking with celebrities.
Okay, John Stamos, Yvette, Helen from Drake and Josh. That's how we all know her. It's Helen from Drake and Josh. Freaking the guy who plays Machete. The guy in the jail who you know from Spy Kids.
Oh yeah, that guy.
The old guy Edwin who plays Carl from Up. He was one of the ghosts in the beginning of the movie, and they also had Alfonso. He was on Fresh Prince. It is now the host of Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. He was on it, and one of the witches from Agatha All Along was on it as well.
Now, the real question that I kind of wonder with, and I mean, like, this movie's decently, like, old-ish, right?
No.
It's only a couple years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this came out, like, in the 10s.
No.
This has literally been within the last 3 years.
Well, damn.
Or at least last 5.
I am curious about the contracting prices of getting stars onto the movie because it all comes down into the sales per view and like what's going to bring in money for Disney.
Really business focused.
Yes, I really am. Okay.
I'm so excited to talk about the songs, the lore, and then Jonelle's just like, let's talk business practice. And I'm just but I have things to say about the Haunted Mansion.
Okay, but like...
I just get curious about how much money they contracted to be like, okay, here are our list of stars. Let's contact their managers to see how much in royalties and how much upfront costs that we need to pay for them to be on the show for this amount allotted time, and we can only record them from within this hour, and it has to be done right, and we have to do all this editing. Like, okay.
I kind of also want to note this. Like, I'm imagining these, like, managers, right, calling up these people. And I know, like, they're actors, so they get, like, really weird, like, calls all the time. Like, hey, would you like to play a really random troll for the Trolls movie? Oh, hey.
Like, especially Ice Age. Ice Age was, like, really good with having, like, they had Nicki Minaj as one of the mammoths, right?
Something crazy like
That was Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
Oh.
But, like, I'm just imagining this phone call. Like, hey, they're doing a Haunted Mansion Muppets movie. Do you want to play one of, like, the ghosts? Oh, like, one of the ghosts in the mansion? No, one of the ghosts in the cemetery. You'll have, like, a minute or two? Nah, less than a minute. Yeah, you'll do it? Cool.
And then, like, what's the price of that? Because, like, a lot
Can
of
I get paid for that?
Like, a lot of these, like, the Super Bowl, celebrities don't get paid for that because they are... So, with the Super Bowl, it is free for the Super Bowl to have the celebrity on there. They do not get paid. And the intent for that is that their promotion of bringing themselves out performing for the Super Bowl is going to be enough. The viewers are going to buy into their CDs, their movies, or whatever afterwards.
It's a marketing boost.
It is exactly a marketing boost, which is exactly what this is, and which is why marketing and branding is such a big thing nowadays. But they're still going to be paying royalties, and they're still going to be paying commission for them being on that movie. And how many times they now watch it on Disney Plus, because every time we stream something on Disney Plus, there is a cost that comes out from us watching it from our subscription that says, okay, this movie is cost this much per view, and this much needs to go to the celebrity from watching the movie this amount of times of how much it was watched during a single month.
Wait a second. This sounds familiar. Rachel Zegler, is that you in there?
Oh, her.
Snow White, like the bad version of Snow White. I remember one of her, like, original controversies when she was Snow White is like, I want royalties off of the Disney Plus premiere or something crazy like that. And I remember being like, bitch, you're getting paid to play Snow White.
Yeah, so not only are they getting paid to just be an actor alone in the movie itself, but they get paid out of continuation for how many times it gets watched on the streaming service, how many times it got bought outright. So they're getting licensing, royalty, and commission. And after that, there's also branding that comes along with it. There is so much money that gets made off of this. And then all of these contracts have to be made. I'm just a person who likes to read contracts and the fine lines of details.
This is why
I got a master's.
Well, there's that. But I was going to say, that's why these movies, like, it takes, when they're ordered, Muppets Haunted Mansion was ordered years ago. Like, probably well before the pandemic was even happened, was it ordered.
See, this is why I thought it was in the 10s.
Like, it takes so much planning to find actors and draw up contracts, create the storyline. There's so much planning that goes around it before the actual filming happens.
Like, so our company, like, not our company, but the company I work for.
Hi, Nova.
We recently partnered.
Hi, Nova.
Hi, Nova.
Okay, back to Jonelle.
But we recently gave a donation fee of, like, I think it was $100,000 to St. Jude's Hospital.
Woo, woo.
But part of that was also that, like, any sale that goes towards the licensing or royalty of a child's design that went onto one of our cups that's being sold, part of that goes as a commission sale back to St. Jude's. So that way there's a continuation of sale for St. Jude's to help go towards fighting children's cancer. So that's kind of how some of these things go, is that they're just calculated fees based off of percentages within a contract. And I'm a person who I work in AP, so I'm the one who gets to read a lot of these fine line things, and I just get very interested into them because you find out a lot behind how things are now today and how everything is run as a business, and the realism behind everything is money.
So on another note, because you lost me, you went way too deep.
I am like, I think I'm
You're
following.
halfway there.
I'm following, okay? But like, I feel like, look, I'm from like an education / theology background. I don't do numbers. Look, the number that I was taught in college was 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. Trilogy. Am I right?
Oh. See, like, on a different note, did you like the music?
Yes, can we please talk about the music?
I thought the music was great.
It was kind
Then we have Sean, our music major over here.
I think...
Well, our music studier.
Hey, I'll still call myself a music major. I love music to this day. If I would be a music major I would be a music teacher right now if I had the chance.
I honestly, this sounds kind of dumb, but I honestly didn't pay attention to the music that much because I just kept spending so much time on trying to remember the Muppets from when I was a kid, and then how much I was upset at economy branding and advertising, because I really want to see a new push for creating money that is no longer sustainable off of branding, because we are now just paying on nostalgia, and I get so upset by that.
So here's the thing, and I have a couple thoughts around this. One, I want to do my thing on music really quick.
And then I want to do some more Haunted Mansion.
I'm going to put the
facts.
mic down so that way I can stop getting upset about branding.
Because when it comes to, like, the music, like, first off, the first song, that was amazing and how well, like, it played out. Like, it was such a chill song, but it's so catchy. And the one thing I really love about it is how it kept on building. Like, each round of hold on, Megan. Each round of like verse and chorus, like it built up into this point where it actually did the original Grim Grinning Ghosts theme song, because that's where they went with like the singing busts of like, because they were like right before your very eyes. And then right to the Grim Grinning Ghosts theme.
Sorry, it's like in my head. Creeps around from midnight creek, keeps with eerie eyes, start to shriek and harmonize.
Grim Grinning Ghosts come out to socialize.
Oh.
And stuff. It's like I really loved how they were able to weave that in
Organically.
But the other cool thing was in Life Hereafter, the song that Kermit starts, but they're all in like the ballrooms.
Mm-hmm.
That is not just an original song; it's a play off of Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Be Our Guest.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can hear a couple things because, like one of the lines it goes, "I do tricks with my deadly candlesticks."
Oh.
I do tricks with my fellow candlesticks from Be Our Guest.
Uh-huh.
And like there's other like subtle references that I it's
But
weird.
see, they were able to do that because they were under Disney's umbrella.
Okay, we're going to pause this right here because Casper Jr. woke up and is now freaking out. Shout out editing, Sean.
I mean, I don't think we need to. I personally am on the lines if we can let the baby cry for about 15 minutes and then...
Okay. Never mind then. Never mind.
But
As a
like,
person who has raised a child when they were in high school or helped my mom with the raising,
he'll be okay.
yeah,
Okay.
he will be okay. I'm okay with hearing babies cry, which...
I just wanted to acknowledge.
Moving on, so I don't have any more to cut out. Like I don't know, like I loved how they were able to play the music off in this in a way that it was fun, it was catchy, it was jazzy, and it was really a fun way to address all the different kinds of characters and really funny humor because
That is the one thing I will like about this is that it was lighter.
like another joke, and Megan can confirm this. A lot of the tombstones at the Haunted Mansion ride are jokes.
Yes.
And so the fact that like when they were like in the opening song, it was really fun because they're like listening off all these people that died for really dumb reasons. Like the opera singer, like here who was haunting here, search for a tune but could never carry it. And that's how she died.
Okay, that's
Like
that's so corny.
like, it was so like lighthearted and funny, but it still referenced like other aspects in the writing in a really creative way musically
Mm-hmm.
that I just love.
So these are like Halloween dad jokes on their tombstones.
Yes.
That
Okay.
is great.
Okay. I think one of the best examples is, so not in Disneyland, but in Disney World, there's like tombstones for like the dead pets of the mansion. And so
No, and in Disneyland, there's a pet cemetery in Disneyland.
let me finish. In Disney World, there was a statue of Mr. Toad because he had a wild ride that got removed and replaced with It's a Small World. And so his statue got moved to the pet cemetery. And there's not actually a headstone there, but there was something that was rumored to like be said, and I cannot find what it's supposed to be. But it was like really witty and humorous. It's like, here lies Mr. Toad, who, yeah.
Another funny, onto your point about branding. I know we are paying into nostalgia. Our generation is really obsessed with nostalgia.
Yeah.
And
That's how they squeeze money out of us. And then, okay, sorry, I watch
Hold on.
We should not be using Klarna.
What I love about the Haunted Man, yes, the Eddie Murphy movie exists. It didn't do that great box office. It was not that like on a like film standpoint, like budgetary standpoint. It did not do that great.
Oh, got it.
And
I mean, Eddie Murphy's kind of like a B-list
hold your thoughts.
actor anyways.
Well, what's your thing?
Oh, yeah. So I figured out what it was, and it was Here Lies Toad. It's sad but true, not nearly as marketable as Winnie the Pooh, because his ride got replaced by Winnie the Pooh's ride. So, like, all of, like, the headstones are, like, as goofy and crazy as that.
Yeah. But what I love about Haunted Mansion, and we can touch on this more with next week's when we talk about the newer one next week. But to your point, there's not a lot of original ideas anymore. But there's countless stories through the park's IP that has led to a lot of original movies. Pirates of the Caribbean was born out of that. This is a really weird niche one that did not do that well, but the Country Bears movie
Yep.
was born out of the Country Bears Jamboree. Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror has a movie. Jungle Cruise has a movie now. Like, there's a lot of really good stories that can come out of the Disney Parks ride, which I think is a really nice way to not just be a way to advertise like the ride itself, but also create more vast stories on this park IP that is original.
No,
and
and
you can build upon that.
I also think this is a really great way to, like, not everyone can go to the park.
I'll be right back, people.
Because it's so expensive. So to invite people into the world of, like, Haunted Mansion, into Pirates of the Caribbean, into, like,
who can't go to the parks. Yeah, well, and, like...
And making it appropriate for, like, all ages.
And this is, like, another part that I like to add in as just being the business person. But the fact that, you know, creativity is not only sprung in the parks and movies, like, we see it now more in the movies because movies are kind of like more the big thing that will then lead to a ride in the park. But I just want to see more originality, more creativity, because it will open more jobs and opportunities to those who don't necessarily speak this corporate language. And it will spark new ideas that can be branded later on, you know, because like today, and this is just why I'm so upset with branding, but it's the same thing over and over again.
That's why I loved K-pop Demon Hunters, because it was new. I haven't seen anything like it, and it was in a world where
it definitely follows a trend.
It follows a trend, but like it gave new, like, a voice to, like, a culture that, like, I see more of, because I look for it, right? I am a K-pop fan, so
and I do not.
And you do not, but like it's mainstream enough that you're like, oh, I've now listened to a K-pop song. Oh, I learned that, like...
And that's the whole reason why I watched Demon Hunters, was because I heard the song Golden and I was like, oh wow, this is actually really catchy. And then I found out it was related to Demon Hunters through TikTok, and then I'm like, okay, now I'll go watch the movie because I need to see what it's about. And then, okay, no shocker, but I just wasn't a big fan of the movie, which Megan was a little offended about. But
listen, like, I get it, right? It'd be like, hey Megan, watch this. It's just something that I don't really care about. Like, hey Megan, watch this really depressing movie about penguins dying. I'm not gonna like that movie, but it will, like, broaden my horizons about, like, how...
Watch the audio biography movie of a child called It. By the way, that is not a real movie. If you've read the book, though, it is absolutely sad.
Right? But, like, it broadens our horizons, and I think why K-pop Demon Hunters is, like, the thing I'm that's creativity. That's, like, I think what you're talking about is it's giving a new voice to people that we don't really experience. In where we are, we hear a lot of Western, like, culture all the time. But what I love about, like, specific things and, like, the theme parks specifically, the ones that I really adore are the ones that take a step outside of, like, what I'm used to. Like, Disneyland and California Adventure are, like, fine, but the ones I really want to go experience are the ones like Magic Kingdom with the Tree of Life and Pandora, which is so different, right? It's like...
Oh, man. Okay, when I went to Animal Kingdom and got to see... I truly love Avatar. I love the Blue Monkey people. And that was because when I first watched that movie, like, yeah, there was a lot of advertising and marketing that came out for that movie because there was a large budget for it. But it was nothing really seen of that time. Like... the graphics and all of the background that went into making that movie made it absolutely stunning. And of course I was like entering puberty during that time, so it was also like a love story, and I'm like, there's this like cringy romance story between a human and a blue monkey person.
To be fair, when I watched, like, The Amazing Spider-Man kiss Gwen, I was like, they're kissing in my superhero movie? And my brother and his friend were like, yeah, there's always kissing in superhero movies. I was like, not my Spider-Man.
Yeah.
See,
Ew.
something interesting when we talk about, like, parks, IP, movies, like, we've had a lot of conversations about it. But recently, me and Megan watched the Imagineering story.
Oh no, I'm not gonna cry again. It's so
One
good. It's so
great series. We're gonna have to have 3-episode series here because it is phenomenal of a show.
If you want to, like, really get inside, like, if you are like, man, there's, like, no creativity in the parks, I want you to go watch the Imagineering story. And I want you to, like, sit with the first few episodes of, like, it's like when Walt was still alive and his thoughts on Disneyland and being like, oh,
Especially
this is the world he created.
The first 2 episodes especially. But
I was just going to add in, when I was at Disney World, I was like, this sounds kind of dumb, but like I was really more excited when I got to step inside Epcot. And that's just because, like, I'm a person who actually, like, really loves to go into someone else's culture and learn about it because it's outside of my own spectrum. But within that park, you are touring the world, which is fun. And like in China, I went and watched a thing about the Great Wall of China. That was interesting. Okay, sorry.
Continue.
But when we were watching the Imagineering story, we were on... So the Imagineering story, it tells, like, the story of Disney Imagineering, which is the creative mind behind the parks and all of those other entertainment venues, like the cruise line and stuff. And we were watching stuff about the 90s era of Disney. Basically when Michael Eisner was CEO of Disney. And he was the CEO before Bob Iger.
Yeah, which is, like, really important in the timeline.
And Eisner, at first, there was this huge conversation about Imagineering. Imagineering went through this up and downhill routinely where, like, Walt loved them and expanded that department as much as possible. Person that took on after Roy, well, like the third CEO in after the Disney, or the second CEO in after the Disney brothers, he, like, downsized the department to, like, 20 people, and then Eisner comes in to re-expand that department up, and that's where Disneyland Paris came in and stuff. And they basically did everything they can to give them as much of a budget as they need, because Walt's thing was, I have a whole nother department to figure out money. You guys do what you need to do. And they really led with a creative mindset. The money, don't worry about the money. But then the president of Disneyland, who was, like, Eisner's right-hand man, died.
And it was, like, a tragic, like,
that was, like,
out of nowhere.
It was really hard on Michael Eisner, but because of, like, the company went through such a weird financial crisis because of Paris and that reception and a couple other things.
Reception. He said reception.
No, the reception of Disneyland Paris. Like, how it was received.
Oh, yeah.
And, basically, he shifted this gear thought to where it's like, well, if you limit the box, it forces them to get creative, which can only go so far to a point.
Which is true. And that's how I feel about the economy today, especially with the job economy, because there's a lot expected out of our generation. I mean, we feel it on a 24-day basis. We are Gen Z, okay? You might be a millennial.
No, we're the subset. We're zillennials.
Well, I mean, yes, but we fall into that, and we're
all Gen Z, realistically.
Yeah, and so we're into the workforce, and, you know, boomers are sitting at us, and they're like, you need to work hard. You need to do this. Like, there's all these expectations, and you know what? You're an entry-level position, so fuck you. You're not going to get paid shit, but you have to do all these things. And we're entering a recession right now, which isn't helpful for us. So not only is our dollar being squeezed at home, it's being squeezed at work, and the pressure is everywhere. There's no motivation for us. And they're like, think creatively. And it's like, I can't.
But, well, that's the thing. Like, you can only go so far when you limit the dollar. And I feel like when it comes to like Disney creating movies, it's hard for them to, because of the economic climate right now. I can see this from a filmmaker standpoint of, if you're trying to get a movie approved, it's going to be really hard to come up with an original idea, but being able to have the budget to make it work. So I can see it from a creative perspective that they're starting to pitch more on the nostalgia, because it's easier to argue for a bigger budget when they can count on the nostalgia to bankroll them.
But this is the second part in the nostalgia, which is where we fall into the cancel culture and the rage bait, is that they're doing a twist on our nostalgia so that way we have something to continuously talk about. And something that's going to go down in generations, like like what our podcast is today. And it is, taking an original concept, and like The Little Mermaid, choosing a black actress with red hair to be Ariel instead of, what we'd known in the original. Or, constantly making new movies with different diversifications. And I mean, there's a lot of these that are organizations within the organization that are forced to push these diversity and different inclusivities and many different things to make people feel welcomed and at home. And there's a lot of different things. And it all has a great mission and it all has a great purpose, but it's not authentic anymore. That's the issue.
Well, there's that lack of authenticity.
But we're just paying on rage bait, which is why...
Well, and again, like, I would feel so frustrated as a filmmaker who wants to have these big budgetary ideas. Like, Disney has been known to push the envelope, create something that hasn't been created before. And like, yes, they may like even like their own...
And Disney wants to do that through the technology now. Sorry,
Disney's always done that through technology. They had the first audio animatronics ever.
I mean, yes, but when money is tight, let's go back to our old ideas, because we've seen these older movies. I pitch them to you guys all the time. They're still pretty good.
But like,
Sorry.
but it goes to my point of like, these filmmakers, they most likely want to create new ideas, new stories, something different. But when you're fighting with budgets in an economic crisis like this, Disney stock prices have not been doing great since the pandemic.
No one's stock prices are doing that good. The only stock of mine that is actually increased by money right now is Alaska Airlines.
But like, Disney, like, if you were to look at the overall charts for Disney from like the last 10 years, when the pandemic hit, it hurt Disney, and it's been going hard. Like, there was some uphills, like when Iger regained the CEO chair position,
well, yeah,
and things like that. But when you're a filmmaker in an entertainment industry trying to create something new, and you're trying to have a budget to make it work, and ask a company for a certain level of budget to make that film work, the chances of them agreeing to it, given the current socio-political climate and the economic climate, it's so unlikely that, again, they're having to bank on our nostalgia, because they're like, oh yeah, that film did do really good. We're going to give you a big budget because they're going to like that. That's nostalgia. That's going to make us money.
But then there's also the part of rage bait where they know we're going to be creating conversations about this, which is going to force us to go back and watch the movie, which creates another sale because we went back and clicked on it, which is where we have come into this culture of just hating on each other because that's what creates money.
Are we blowing your minds right now, huh?
Yes. I just have two things I want to say.
Oh, yeah, please go for it. Get me out of this business talk.
Like, you can interject us.
I feel like it's an important conversation to have. But, like, I have thoughts on the actual movie if I can put them into the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I feel like I understand why one of the main characters was there out of, like, the Muppets. I cannot stand the prawn character.
Pepe.
I just thought he was dumb.
That was the only character I liked.
The Jumbo King Prawn.
Vomit. Anyway, the character of Constance Hatchaway is actually really interesting because she has like that red beating heart. Did you like see it in the movie? That was like, so in every single like version or concept of the Haunted Mansion, there was always supposed to be like a bride character, whether or not she was dead or alive, or if she was the killer or not, she existed. And so one of the original versions of like this animatronic, this like person, was like a white sheet with like a red heart beating, and then it transitioned to a person with a blue, like a ghostly blue with a red heart, and then like there was many different iterations, but that was what that was calling back to, was like the red beating heart. And in the Haunted Mansion ride, they updated it recently, so it's not there. Like,
it's not Constance Hatchaway anymore. It's back to the original idea of the bride, because what it is now and what it used to be, and they changed it to Constance Hatchaway, the woman who kills all her husbands by beheading them. # King Henry VIII. But
like in the portrait in the ride, it used to be that you like see like a happy married couple, and then like it transitioned to like just like
the head's gone.
Head's gone.
Okay, I will say this now makes more sense when it comes to the next episode we're going to talk about.
So like that was like the idea. Fun fact, it's my favorite thing to use in like the Tsum Tsum emoji thing, because like she just like clears a whole line because she has an axe. She just cuts.
Oh yeah, the emoji blitz.
Yeah, emoji blitz.
Disney emoji blitz.
She's my favorite character. But so like I just thought that was a really clever like callback, and I think that her scenes were done very well. I don't like the prawn thing. I think it's really gross.
Jumbo prawn.
I think the way that she was characterized was good for the most part. I also just don't like that part. It gives me the ick. It gives me the ick.
I think the point of it was that she was basically like
seducing him,
but like not
him.
like in like a traditional seductive way. It was a lot more of like basically like casting influence, almost like similar to like that of like possession or like controlling someone's mind. That kind
like
of
hypnotize.
Yeah,
sort of
that kind of vibe. And she was doing that by basically appealing to like his own like desires in a way. She went full Lucifer.
Okay. So this is like really like this blanket is based off of like the really famous stuff in the like
it's the wallpaper in the
Haunted Mansion. Fun fact, you can actually buy the wallpaper from the Haunted Mansion. It's on a website. I don't remember which one, but I thought it was really interesting that they changed this wallpaper to have Muppet faces on it.
I didn't see that.
I pointed it out to you in the movie. But yeah, they changed the wallpaper. I thought that was really cool. Another thing I wanted to add, sorry, because we're getting to our 1 hour time limit, and I just had a lot of thoughts while you guys were having this really important conversation. The two times we hear music is in the ballroom scene and in the graveyard, which I think is really interesting because in the ride there is like there's an organ playing, which is like one room where you hear music, and the other place you hear music is in the cemetery, just like how in the beginning of the ride there's a cemetery where you hear grim groaning ghosts for the first time, well, for the last time before you like leave the ride. So I thought that was really interesting. That's like the two places that there was music in the ride. There was like actual like music. I thought that was pretty clever.
I will say I did like the introduction of this movie and like how it was very kind of similar to the ride, and then like there were like, did 999 people like really die, but there's always room for one more. Like I liked how they incorporated those little bits and concepts from what I had watched from the ride on Disney Plus by you guys into the movie, because like that does bring, for a person who's gone on the Haunted Mansion ride, you know, that brings a sense of homeness to the movie, to them, and it's gonna make them want to watch this movie again.
And
which kind of goes back to like what conversation we were having while Sean was temporarily gone, was like what brought people to watching. We related this to Demon Hunters.
I noticed. I was gonna ask what caused that jump.
Yeah, so this is what had caused it, because like I had heard the song Golden on the radio and I was like, oh wow, like I really like this song. And then that had led me to a TikTok video that was like, oh yeah, the song Golden is like on Netflix. And I'm like, okay, well now I need to go watch the movie to see what it's about. And which is just how sales increases.
Yeah.
It's how things work. And when things are advertised, they have 1 minute to capture your attention. But more specifically, they have the first 10 seconds to capture your attention. Mm-hmm. And because of how much we're on our phones today, you really only have 3 seconds from the very beginning to capture your attention, which is why they pack the action first. And then they're like, yeah, so here's kind of what it's about. Done. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to leave you to go back into the theater to hopefully increase sales, or they're going to have you just wait until it's on their streaming services, and then you're going to watch it a million times because you supposedly love it, or you're going to hate it, and then you're going to tell all your friends how you hate about it, and then that's going to lead them to go back onto their subscription to then go watch the movie and say, oh yeah, I see why you hate it now, and then they tell other people why you should hate it, and they all continue watching and hating the same thing, where they create much more content on either hating or loving it, and then everyone keeps watching it, so that way they can overanalyze, which is why we have a lot of YouTube videos that goes like, this one scene in this one part of this one film, in this one photograph, there was this little character with this face which relates to this one thing of this one thing of this one thing, and it's a never-ending cycle of bullshit.
On that note,
let me drop like one more factoid about this movie. Something that I really enjoyed. Okay, I really liked the cemetery person at the beginning, because it's the only living person we see in the entire ride of Haunted Mansion. He's a character. When you get thrown out the window by Constance, he's at the bottom of the hill right before you go into the cemetery, and he has a lantern and he has a dog, and he's the cemetery keeper. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really interesting that he's always there, and when it's the overlay, it's Jack Skellington and Zero standing there. And I think it was really like clever that like that was like the character that introduced us to like the Haunted Mansion.
That's cute.
Yes, so that's like the thing I want to end
You
on.
did remind me though, I need to go to Build-A-Bear so I can go buy Zero. Talking of branding, but so this is the main reason why though, because Build-A-Bear made the nose of Zero glow, and it's a pumpkin. So you squeeze the nose and then it lights up. Anyways,
Zero's nose is a pumpkin.
Yeah, and then it lights up.
It's cute.
And you can have your stuffy at home. And I mean, I fall into the branding gimmicks too, so I can be a hater on my own things, but
You're such a hypocrite, Jonelle.
I am a hypocrite,
Yeah,
okay?
Jonelle.
And I will admit it, I am a hypocrite. There's just a certain extent of branding I am willing to pay for and other branding I am not willing to pay for, because I will pay into Cinderella because I love the Cinderella. Like I will pay into the Pokemon that I really like the most. I will pay into the characters I like the most. So I'm very specific on what I am paying into. I don't want to buy into the whole movie itself. I love the whole Cinderella movie, so of course I will pay into that. I loved all of Avatar. I watched that movie for 6 months every day.
I still have not seen it, and I will see it soon. Okay.
I think we got.
Do I see a future episode?
Yes.
We're gonna have to do a series at some point.
Ooh, they're also coming out with another movie for Avatar.
I know. I was about to say they're coming out with Fire and Ash.
I know. I'm so excited.
On that note, catch us next week for our last episode of our Halloween series, ending with the newest Haunted Mansion.
And be excited.
And hopefully we can shut up about my branding hypocrite.
Lightning McQueen is in this
hypocrisy.
movie. I'm so excited.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.